Hi everyone, welcome. So we're going to be waiting a couple minutes, see if everybody is joining. I guess some people are still connecting. Just so you know, this session will be recorded, okay, and it will be made available later on our YouTube channel. So if you miss anything, you can still, Juan, you're sharing your screen. Juan?
Yes, wait a moment, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So everything in order? Yeah? Good on your
Yes.
side? Okay. Cool. Perfect. So for those of you who already connected, maybe you did join the first episodes, maybe you didn't. In any case, the first episode was recorded as well. It was on marine forests, and the speaker was our project coordinator, Sergio Rossi, from the University of Salento in Italy. And at the end of this session, I will share again the links. So anyone who wants to rewatch or watch for the first time the session will have the possibility to do so. If it's okay for everyone, I'm going to wait another minute and then we'll just start.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I think we can get started. If anyone joins later, they will catch up either live or with the recording. So again, welcome everyone to episode 2 of this 3-part mini-series called Understanding Blue Forests. Today we're going to dive into blue carbon and ecosystem resilience. My name is Isabel. I'm a marine biologist on this project called Ocean Citizen Horizon Project, unfolding in 5 different ecozones. Clara is connected as well. She's going to be managing the chat or attending you on the Q&A. So the Q&A box is open. If you have any specific question on the topic of today that you want to be attended later on after the talk, please make sure you write that on the Q&A box so we don't miss out on it. What else? There will be a 3rd episode in a couple of weeks on connectivity. It's also a very important aspect of the restoration activities that are unfolding in the Ocean Citizen project. But so today I'm going to leave the floor to Enrique Isla and Juan Rousseau, who are both researchers at ICM-CSIC. It's a research center, Spanish research center. Juan, the floor is yours.
Hi. Can I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Thank you, Isabel, for organizing this wonderful activity and the possibility to make this. Okay. In the first in the first time we are gonna talk about the blue carbon and the blue carbon ecosystems. We are gonna talk about what is blue carbon, where it's generated, where it's stored, how it's produced. Then we will talk about the main threats that affects the blue carbon ecosystems. Then we will talk about the benefits of restoring these ecosystems, and the final part of this presentation we will talk about our contribution to Ocean Citizen project that was carried in Tenerife, in Canary Island. Well, we are gonna ask the first question, that is, what is blue carbon? Well, the blue carbon is the atmospheric carbon that is retained in marine living organisms in the ocean and coastal ecosystems. We must take into account that it includes the carbon that is retained and sequestered in the living organism, in the living biomass, such as plants, in the roots, stems, leaves, and the non-living and sediments. Okay, this carbon can be stored for short terms. Okay, for example, 10 of years in the case of plants, and thousands or millenniums in the case of the carbon stored in the sediments. Okay, but how this carbon is sequestered from the water column to the living biomass or and the sediments by photosynthesis. Okay, this is the main process that transforms the atmospheric carbon into carbon that is stored in sediments or in the biomass. Okay, here you will see a diagram with this type of fluxes. Okay, then we're gonna talk about the three main blue carbon ecosystems that are mangroves, salt marshes, and the seagrass meadows. Okay, this type of ecosystems are characterized by the high productivity and high primary production. Okay, and the high capacity of accumulate this carbon sequestered into sediments. Okay, uh, these three ecosystems only cover about 2% of the total ocean surface, but they are estimated to be responsible for absorb half of the carbon that is absorbed in the ocean. Okay, for example, mangroves are a type of tropical forest. Okay, that is found at the edge of the land and sea, and is flooded regularly by tidal waters. Okay, it can absorb about 30% of all coastal ecosystems carbon. Okay, then we have the salt marshes. Okay, that annually sequester carbon at a rate of about 10 times greater than the mature tropical forest. With the mangroves, they are responsible of a carbon burial that is about 5 times of the carbon that is stored in tropical forest. So this puts the importance of these ecosystems in carbon absorption. Uh, then the the seagrass meadows, for example, only cover a 0.2% of ocean floor, but they can store a carbon 20 times greater than a tropical forest. It's estimated that the seagrass meadows are capable to absorb a 10% of the carbon that is absorbed annually by the ocean. So this is the best way to know the importance of these ecosystems in the carbon and absorption and storage in the ocean. Then not only these blue carbon ecosystems can store carbon. There's much more ecosystems than can store carbon. So we have, for example, the mud or tidal flats, bivalve bed, rocky reef, polar zobentos, coral reef systems, coralline algal beds, or the unconsolidated sedimentary systems. If you remember the last the last Blue Talk that was done by Sergio Rossi, they talk about the marine animal forest that is similar to the coral reef system. Okay, there is a complex system that can store and sequester a lot of carbon and supports a lot of different type of biodiversity that are so important. But this type of ecosystems actually are poorly studied as blue carbon storage systems. Then we have a video that resumes the things that we done. Okay, these videos show the different type of blue carbon storage that is made in the ocean. So now we are gonna talk about the things that affect the blue carbon ecosystems. Okay, that are affecting not only this blue carbon, but we are gonna center on blue carbon ecosystem. That is the main goal of this presentation. For example, in the annually between 3,000 kilometers square sorry 300 3,000 square kilometers are affected by are sorry annually between 3,000 square kilometers and almost 10,000 square kilometers are lost on blue carbon ecosystems. If you see the image in the slide, the mangroves in the last decade are lost between 20 and 35% of the surface. In the case of the seagrass, it's similar. Nearly 30% of the surface have disappeared since the last century. In the case of salt marshes, it's similar. Some recent studies say that if this trend continue and at the current rates, further between 20 and 40% of tidal marshes, seagrasses, and all unprotected mangrove areas could be lost in the next century. So this is important to make conservation actions and restorations and this kind of actions to protect not only the blue carbon ecosystems that all ecosystems that are capable to sequester and store carbon. Then we are gonna explain a little bit the main threats that affects the blue carbon ecosystems, but there are much more. So here we are gonna talk about these examples like the pollution, for example, in the uncontrolled sewage, this discharge that is produced in some part of the world with uncontrolled discharge about agriculture, industrial discharge. Other type of problematic and very harmful pollution is the plastics. Not only for plastic particles, uh, sino the chemical uh, products that are involved in these plastics. Then we have another main thing that's so important, that is the ocean warming, the urban coastal development. For example, in the case of mangroves or salt marshes, often are removed or drained to construct resorts, hotels, harbors, or another type of shoreline infrastructure. Then we can talk about the ocean acidification that is affecting mainly the coral reefs that are killing and degrading a lot of coral reef around the world. Then we have the big problem of climate change. In the case of climate change, the impact, for example, of the quickly sea level rise, this can draw down salt marshes or mangroves, limiting the adaptation of plants to grow and to stay above the water. So this is a big problem for these coastal areas. Then we have another threat, that is the resource extraction, that can be, for example, overfishing or bottom trawling. In the case of bottom trawling and the human activities, for example, boating or anchoring, these activities are especially dangerous for seagrass beds, like, for example, Posidonia oceanica in the Mediterranean Sea. uh, or whatever. For example, in the case of the human activities carried in the mangrove forest zone, there are a lot of deforestation in the mangrove to construct and to use this wood for construction, or for the next thing that we are gonna talk, that is the land use. Um, some some zones are deforested to change the use of this land, to convert into aquaculture farms, or in agriculture files. Okay. Then the key message here is that when we damage these coastal habitats, we are sorry. When we damage these coastal habitats, the carbon that's previously stored is released back into the water column and eventually into the atmosphere. So this ecosystem will be transforming into source of carbon rather than sinks. Okay, so we are changing the benefits of maintaining the ecosystem on a healthy state, and we are gonna convert this into a problem. Uh, Here we show a little examples of the things that are affecting the blue carbon ecosystems, as the anchoring in seagrass meadows, deforestation of mangrove zones, the sewage discharge in coastal zone, and in the case of the photo is a beach, okay? Then we have the effects of bottom trawling and plastic contamination in the ocean floor. And the next is the coral bleaching that is affecting some coral reef zones around the world. Okay, in this case, the coral bleaching is affecting uh, about 30% of the reef around the world, and this is so important because coral reefs maintain about 25% of the biodiversity of the world. Then we have the big plastic contamination around the sea. Then the message here that these ecosystems are damaged or destroyed. They lost the capacity of carbon sequestration and storage, as well as other benefits that we will see in the next section. Okay, there is a real need to recover and restore the ecosystems to mitigate climate change and to obtain all the benefits that a healthy ecosystems can provide, that we are gonna see now. And then how the restoration helps to ecosystems. Well, a healthy ecosystem can provide multiple ecosystem services. The ecosystem services are the goods and benefits that contributes to human well-being. These benefits are known as ecosystem services. Now we are gonna talk about some of the ecosystem services that a healthy ecosystem can provide, but there are much more. For example, here in this presentation, we have talked about the carbon sequestration and storage, mainly in blue carbon ecosystems. Then another ecosystem service is the food provision. Well-conserved ecosystem can provide food for humans, for coastal communities. So this is important in this case. Okay. Then we have the climate regulation. The regulation. We have talked about the importance of conserving these types of ecosystems to mitigate the climate change via the sequestration of atmospheric carbon that enters in the ocean. Then we have the coastal protection against storms, floods, or coastal erosion. Then the ecosystems can be a nursery and shelter for fish, or for some different type of organism. Okay. Then it's very important that the ecosystems are uh, mm, important for the maintenance of biodiversity, for primary production, because without primary production we don't have we can sustain the rest of the tropical the rest of the tropical levels. Then is habitat provision. a healthy ecosystem can be very important for recreational and tourism, and can be, for example, a powerful tool for educational purpose, for knowledge, uh, for research that we are gonna we are gonna talk in the next section. Well, after this, um, we're gonna talk about the ocean citizen contribution. As Sergio Rossi said in the first episode of Blue Talk, the Ocean Citizen project is working in 5 different places around the Europe region. As you can see in the map, they are the Ocean Citizen Project are working in Mediterranean Sea, Atlantic, and Baltic Sea. In this case of this presentation, we are gonna explain the research that has been carried in Tenerife, Iceland. Okay. Then the work that has been conducted in Tenerife sorry, consists of the following. Um, the first goal of the Ocean Citizen project in the southwestern part on a shallow coastal shelf of Tenerife was to do an environmental characterization that was done by this monitoring station that is composed by a fiberglass surface that is a sediment trap. And then at the top part of the sediment trap, we have attached some different type of sensors that are continuously monitoring the environment. Um, and we have 7 types of the different sensors. In this case, we have chlorophyll measurements, turbidity, temperature, salinity. We also dissolve oxygen, light intensity, and finally, we have a sensor that are measuring the current intensity and the duration. Then the
Juan,
second,
sorry,
yes,
Juan, do you think you can point with the pointer
yes.
on your screen to the different instruments and go over
Sorry.
them again? Because
Yes,
I believe that would be, it's quite interesting for people to be able to visualize what's, even if it's
yes,
quite small on the picture, but the current matter, you can see it quite
yes.
clearly.
Do you see the
Thank
the
you.
the 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 cursor?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, okay. Sorry for that. Well,
Great.
the in we will see the more in detail the sensor that we have in the monitoring station, but well, uh, this is the current meter. Okay. And attached in the part that is below the steel angle, we have the turbidity, oxygen dissolve, and chlorophyll sensor. And in the top part, we have the light intensity sensor, and the CTD, that is the sensor that measures temperature, depth, and salinity. But what we will see
Mhm.
in detail in the next slide. Then
Okay.
the second objective of the research done in Tenerife was the assessment of the blue carbon development. We will see that uh, via sampling the monitoring surface of the station, we calculated the biomass generated and then the blue carbon that was generated and transferred to the upper level in the studied period of time. Then uh, we do the assessment of the biodiversity associated to this artificial structure and the nearest rock that was here. You can see in the photo bar there, but then here there's a big rock where we carried the photographic identification of some species. And then the final objective of this work was to identify the ecosystem services that was generated during the study period. In this case, the study period was 18 months. Okay, so we have data about this time. Okay, here we have a detailed photo of the sensors that are continuously monitoring the environment. Here we have a detail of the light intensity sensor, and then this is a photo of the chlorophyll and turbidity sensor and the dissolved oxygen sensor that is similar to that. Then here in this slide, we present the evolution of the colonization in the monitoring station. In the first photo, you have the monitoring station the same day that was deployed. You can see that all the surface of the sediment trap and the steel part and the concrete is clean. There's no colonization. There's no colonization of no organism. Then the second photo, okay, that is here. It shows the monitoring station after 9 months of colonization. You can see that all the surface is covered by a little layer of algal and with some hydrozoa attached to the surface. And then the last photo shows the monitoring station during the last or one of the last maintenance period. In this case, this photo shows the monitoring station in the month number 18. Okay, you can see that all the sensors are colonized by some different type of organisms, and you can see a lot of fish that are around the monitoring station. Then we will explain the ecosystem services that are generated by this station in more detail. For calculating the biomass and the blue carbon that is generated in this biomass, in every file word that was carried in the last month, biomass sampling was done. In this photo, you will see Isa and Karima that are carefully scraping the biomass and collecting this in a plastic bag. Okay. in this project, we have monitor and take biomass samples in squares like this. Okay, these squares are sorry. These squares have a surface of 400 of square centimeters, and this permitted to calculate the biomass that was generated in periods about 6 months, a year, and the 80 months that was the last sampling that was done. And then in this image, you have the monitoring station surface after after two after two sampling of biomass that was carried 1 year after the deployment of the station. Um, Here we are gonna present the main results of this calculation, but well, the organic carbon that was calculated in laboratory was between 0.2 and almost 5 grams per square meter. This quantity uh, is a is low if we compare to blue carbon ecosystems that have been told in the
So maybe I think Juan froze. Is that possible? Yeah. Okay.
Can you repeat, please?
Juan, yeah, no, you just froze for a moment. I thought it was me, but I believe it was the same for Clara because she was nodding yes. So maybe go back. You were just saying that the biomass, the organic
Yes.
carbon that we weighted was basically not as much compared with the blue carbon ecosystems that you mentioned at the beginning of the presentation.
Yes.
But I assume you were going with, but we came from some station, so there was nothing at first, right? So all of that biomass was generated. And then the organic carbon without grazing the blue circle, we didn't quite hear what you were saying about that.
Yes, the fact that the organic carbon or blue carbon that was generated by the monitoring station is not comparable to the blue carbon or the
Exactly.
classic blue carbon ecosystems, but we have the capacity to calculate the carbon that was generated, that was transferred to the hypertrophic levels, and we have to take into account that this environment is an oligotrophic environment. That means that is nutrient limited, and this conditions all the development of the biodiversity. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I don't know how many slides you have left. We're gonna have to wrap it
Oh,
up so we can have time for the quiz and Q&A.
yes,
Perfect.
only two.
The grazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go for
Sorry.
it. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, this was so extensive. Then for calculating all the blue carbon that was generated in the study period, we analyzed the um, the surface of the monitoring station, and we see that these blue marks, these white marks that you see here, was produced by some fish um, that was catched up in one of the monitoring dives. So so we analyzed this image and was capable to say that the total carbon that was generated. Okay. Then the third goal of the project was the assessment of the biodiversity associated during the monitoring dives that we do in the study period. We identified some different species. In this case, we identified 46 different species belonging to 11 different phyla. Here we have an example of the organism that was identified, but well in the paper that is submitted, you will find the complete table of the all species that was identified in the monitoring station, and the rock that was near to compare the species. And then the final part of the research conducted in Tenerife was to identify the ecosystem services that was generated by the monitoring station. We have here some examples of fish nursery. So, here we have little fish that are living near the concrete structure of the station. Then we have some organisms that use parts of the monitoring station as a shelter. Here we have an octopus below the concrete. Then we have identified that the monitoring station is providing primary production, as you see in the previous slide. And finally, we have said that the monitoring station has generating a biodiversity maintenance. This is so important because we detected that the monitoring station that was acting as an intentional artificial reef that provides this type of ecosystem services and much more. So then with this we finish this presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, Juan, thank you so much. I was definitely not expecting so many of my pictures on the presentation, but it's nice. It made me dive through the monitoring of the station again. So before we jump to Q&A, I hope you still have a few minutes available for this. I'm going to shoot a link to the quiz on the chat. Okay, so we've prepared a very short quiz. It's 4 or 5 questions. Well, to see what you've learned, what you've retained, and let me share my screen so that we can all see the results live. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, that should do it. All right. A ver, presentar. Wait, present, sorry. Okay, there we go. I think you should be able to see. Oh, no. Yeah. Great, let's dive into it. So first question, what does blue carbon refer to? So I think Juan was quite clear on that. Maybe we also have an audience that had concepts, but indeed, blue carbon is a carbon captured by marine and coastal ecosystems. So we can jump maybe to the next question. Oh, I see some people are still joining through the link. All Right. If there is anything that doesn't feel clear in the quiz, you can shoot the question in the Q&A, and we'll take a minute after. Enrique ISLA is also in the room to attend some questions. So next question. Indeed, it was carbon captured by marine and ecosystems. Which of the following processes helps marine ecosystem capture and store carbon? We've talked about that. See if we all remember. Was it photosynthesis, evaporation, sedimentation from land, or wave action? Right, so we have most of you are going for photosynthesis. Some are going for sedimentation from land. I don't know if Juan or Enrique, you want to comment on that?
Well, I would say photosynthesis helps, or it's the main process or the process, transforming gaseous carbon into particulate carbon. So it's a process capturing carbon. However, the process to store it for the long term in the marine environment is sedimentation. So in a way, both options are good, I would say.
Yeah, so there's the main one and then the second one.
Yeah, the question is tricky.
All right. Yeah, I do tricky questions. Why are blue carbon ecosystems important for climate regulation, for climate resilience? So carbon ecosystem, blue carbon ecosystem release large amounts of oxygen into space, or they trap carbon for long periods, or they reduce ocean salinity, or do they cool the ocean's water temperature? I think that one's not as tricky. Yeah. So yeah, blue carbon ecosystem trap carbon for long periods, indeed. Let's move to the next. What happens when blue carbon habitats are degraded or destroyed? What do you think? Yeah. If everybody is answering. So blue carbon habitats can be degraded or destroyed. Well, we mentioned seaward discharge, contamination in general, climate change, ocean acidification, anchoring boats. There's just so many threats to these beautiful and very important ecosystems. When they get degraded or destroyed, indeed, they release the stored carbon back into the atmosphere. So Juan was talking about that earlier, saying we basically shift from a carbon sink to a carbon release. How can restoring blue carbon ecosystem help both nature and the people? Because in the end, with the marine restoration project, how they focus on both things, not just helping nature, it's also helping ourselves, because everything is interconnected, right? So I think everybody's quite clear on that one as well. Yeah. So yeah, and you can think of ecosystem services also to answer that question. When we restore blue carbon ecosystem, we strengthen and restore the ecosystem services that they provide, right? So we strengthen biodiversity, coastal protection, climate resilience, and along, etc. Yeah, great. And that was it. It was a short quiz, I told you. So I think we can have a quick check. I'm not sure if there is any question in the Q&A box, or if anyone has a question now, you can shoot either in the chat or the Q&A. Enjoying the opportunity that Juan and Enrique are with us connected. In case you want to to ask for anything. Maybe no.
There's no questions.
It doesn't look like it. Maybe it was just so clear.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
See, right?
It seems.
So, well, thank you so much, Juan. So, I'm not sure we said it quite like that, but Juan is basically doing his PhD, and so everything he's told you about on this presentation is basically the fruit of the last 2-3 years of work. I think it's 3 years already.
Two. Almost two. Yes.
Two, because there was a lot of work to be done before syncing the instruments, and even more work to be achieved after that.
Yes, a lot.
Oh, hi, Alejandro. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in Tenerife as well. Maybe you can tell with my T-shirt. I'm in the Canary Islands. The rest of the guys are in Barcelona are quite upset with me at the moment for the temperature. Yeah. So, I don't know, have a notification here in the Q&A. I'm gonna check. Azizi Ali has a question, so maybe you can shoot the question in the Q&A because I cannot see it. I can just see that you have a question, Azizi Ali. Anyway, in the meantime, as I told you in the beginning, this is the second episode of a 3-part mini-series. So I'm going to share in the chat the link to the next episode in case you want to register if it's not done yet. This episode will focus on oceans connectivity. So basically the links, the pathways between different habitats, different ecosystems, or just fragments of a similar ecosystem. It will be presented by Federica Costantini. She's from the University of Bologna in Italy. And well, she's the expert that's been running genetic analysis and so on the marine forest populations that we seek to restore in different ecozones of the project. And one of them is Tenerife. So yeah, let's see if we have the question here. So Azizi Ali is asking, what does it, sorry, I'm going to read it first. What makes a blue ecosystem store more carbon than terrestrial plants, land plants? So first, maybe we can split that question into two. Do marine forest or blue carbon ecosystem, do they store more carbon than land plants or than land ecosystems? That would be maybe the first question. And if they do store more blue carbon than land ecosystems, what is it that makes that difference? Does any of you, Juan or Enrique, want to reply that question?
Well, in the case of the comparison of the marine versus terrestrial ecosystems, in some studies we find that the carbon that was sequestered by the marine ecosystem was higher than the terrestrial one, and then in the case of carbon storage, the fact that the carbon is buried in the ocean floor permits that this carbon is stored more time if we compare to the tropical forest, for example. That is the case that that is in more of the studies that we read. Okay. This is the key, the time of the burial of the carbon.
Okay, so it's longer periods in the case of marine ecosystems versus land ecosystem. Does it have anything to do with the fact that we leave them alone for longer? Mostly? Or it's also linked to the natural cycle of these ecosystems?
it is related to natural cycle, but um, it depends on the human impact
Yeah.
on the marine ecosystems. As we talk in the presentation, the blue carbon ecosystems are threatened by a lot of multiple dangers, and this can affect this storage. For example, if we have seagrass meadow of Posidonia, and we detect that a bottom traveling has been done in this zone. We can see that there's no seagrass in this zone. Then this carbon is released back to the water column, and the carbon that is retained in the plants not disappear, but it is moved to another zone. Mm, Furthermore, not only the carbon storage is affected, and is affected all the ecosystem services that are associated to that. So this is important to conserve, to restore this area, and to protect from this kind of human activities. Because if we destroy this ecosystem, we are going to transforming this ecosystem on a carbon sink, on a carbon source rather than a carbon sink. But this effect will be the contrary.
Okay, great. So we have a couple more questions in the Q&A box. Alejandro is asking, so Juan, you mentioned eutrophic ecosystems. Should we consider that mangroves, which are way more oligotrophic ecosystem, will have a greater impact on capturing CO2? A greater impact. So I think is the question here, Alejandro, can correct me if I'm wrong, is the question whether mangroves oligotrophic systems have greater impacts on carbon sequestration than eutrophic systems?
Yes, in this case, some studies have talked about the carbon sequestration in mangroves, and mangroves are the blue carbon ecosystem that are capable to sequester and store more quantity of carbon. So if we put on a rank, we will have first mangrove, then salt marshes, and in the third position, seagrass meadows on carbon sequestration and storage.
Can I just add a sub question? Like these numbers that you showed in the beginning, I guess we're talking carbon sequestration efficiency per square meter or per weight of the ecosystem, per kilo. How is it expressed? Because the mangrove is obviously, it can extend widely as a seagrass, but obviously the mangrove has another biomass per square meter. So how do you know, like these numbers? Is it carbon sequestration efficiency per kilo of forest or per square meter?
Yes, and in this case, the mangroves have the capacity to retain more carbon and store more carbon. Some research that has been carried in mangrove zones have demonstrated that an hectare of mangrove can store a very big quantity of carbon. So with this calculation, researchers said that the mangroves are the ecosystems that retain more carbon and have the capacity to store it below ground in form of roots, or retain the carbon in the sediments.
Yeah, so it's usually expressed rather per coverage, per area.
Yes.
So we have one last question from Azizi, and I think after that we're going to wrap it up, okay? Because it's already 11 here, 12 over there. So we used to see that plastics have impacts on marine mammals, crustaceans, and other animals. Can you please explain how plastic impacts this carbon ecosystem? So I think you said something about it being rather the chemicals attached to the plastic, or just, right?
Yes.
Than the plastic only. Maybe you can go on to that.
Yes, the main impact of plastics in these ecosystems is the physical property that can affect the animals or plants. Then we have the chemicals that have that is composed the plastic that some studies are talking about that this chemical substance affect for example phytoplankton, plants, animals. So this impact is very important to these ecosystems, because if we don't have any plants or phytoplankton for primary production, we don't have the capacity to sequester carbon and to store in below ground or in sediments or other biomass structures.
Okay. Well, I hope this replies to your questions. We're going to wrap it up for today, okay? Because this session has been a little bit longer, but it was quite interesting to interact with the questions that you had. So thank you so much, Juan, for such a complete presentation and a practical example of the study that has been carried out in Tenerife within the framework of Ocean Citizen. Thank you, Enrique, also for joining for support and your availability to attend questions. And Clara, of course, for helping making it smooth with the logistics. Thank you all for joining. Once the recording of this session is available, you will receive it by email, so do not worry. And don't hesitate to rewatch or share it and join for the next session. I think it's December 9th. It will be a Tuesday at 4 p.m. Barcelona time. So it's Central Eastern time. Okay? Thank you all. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.